Our weather is about to take a dramatic turn, which will divide our weather into two distinct categories. A major heat wave will build west of the Rockies, which will also allow for two dangerous Arctic blasts and snow to return to parts of the central and eastern United States. This major weather pattern change will stem from a large ridge that is building in the western United States. This ridge will lead to abnormally warm temperatures over the next week for much of the central and western United States. On the other hand, two Arctic blasts are about to surge out of Canada. The first polar plunge will arrive on Wednesday, driving temperatures down by as much as 20 to 30 degrees across the eastern United States. But this will also come with a surprise snow threat for the Ohio Valley and East Coast. But the second Arctic blast will be way more intense. This surge of Arctic air will hit Friday and Saturday, leading to bone-chilling cold across the eastern third of the country. Additionally, a widespread snow event will impact tens of millions of people. This big weather divide is all going to revolve around our temperatures and exactly who is going to see snow over the next 7 days. I want to begin with our temperature trends over the next 7 to 10 days. Currently, we have a large Arctic air mass that is sitting all across the East Coast. Much warmer temperatures are currently moving into areas across the Great Plains and have been dominating the West Coast for upwards of a week now. But as we go into the middle and end of the week, things are going to start to change dramatically. As we go into Wednesday, we are going to have yet again another cold front that is going to make its way across areas like Texas all the way back into the Northeast. With this cold front, it's going to bring a little bit of Arctic air. We're really mostly going to be talking about that Arctic air back in the Northeast, where it'll be much more intense. The farther south and west you go, the less intense this storm system is going to be. Most areas like Texas and Oklahoma will only drop by a few degrees. But on the other hand, warm temperatures are going to continue to build along the west coast as a large ridge will be building. By Thursday and Friday, that Arctic air will make its way across the southeast and along the east coast. Temperatures will drop by as much as 10 to 30 degrees in some locations. Then by Friday and Saturday, notice how just off to the north of the Great Lakes, we're going to have a large, low-pressure system developing. This is what's going to bring our next shot of significant snowfall to some areas. But on top of that, some very cold air and even in some cases, dangerous and life-threatening cold across the Great Lakes and the Northeast. This is where temperatures will fall by as much as 50 degrees within only 24 hours. So extreme cold is on the way this weekend, and it's not going to go anywhere anytime soon. By the middle of next week, that cold air is still going to be sitting in the Mid-Atlantic and the Northeast. While that's happening, we will have a large area of warm weather developing across the Great Plains, the Midwest, and back toward the West Coast. This will help to melt some of the snow back in parts of the Midwest by the beginning of next week. Eventually, by the middle of February, things become more uncertain. Right now, the GFS model is showing an extended period of warm air. For winter lovers, this is not necessarily a bad thing because what this is going to allow for is some very warm air to likely build in during the middle of February. Our polar vortex will likely unleash sometime around the middle of February as well. That could unleash some very cold air leading to the possibility of some big winter storms. So again, winter is not over by any means as of right now, but at least as we go into the second week of February, temperatures will likely be above average for most of the country. By the third and fourth week of February, it could be a very different story. This is the difference from average in terms of temperatures over the next few days. Notice by early Thursday morning, many areas in the Ohio Valley and Northeast will be as much as 20, 30, and even upwards of 40 degrees below average. Down toward the Gulf Coast in Texas, yes, we will have a cold front Wednesday into Thursday, but it's not going to be nearly as impactful for those locations. Temperatures only about 10 degrees below average. By Friday and Saturday, that cold air will linger along the East Coast. A brief warm-up on Friday into early Saturday in the Northeast will happen. However, we're going to get another really significant shot of Arctic air across the Northeast Saturday and Sunday. That will linger at least through the beginning of next week. Monday morning, we could have temperatures as low as 50 degrees below average in Pennsylvania. If this happens, we would have a lot of records shattered in terms of daily high temperatures and low temperatures. By the time we go into Tuesday and Wednesday, we are going to see a heat wave build across the central and southern plains. We may start to see some bigger storm systems as well during the second week of February. So even though it's going to be warmer during the second week of February, that does not mean big storms are out of play. We are definitely going to see some. The temperatures over the next 7 to 10 days will be on a little bit of a roller coaster beginning with even this morning. It's only in the mid-30s down in Florida. It's actually warmer in Alaska this morning than Florida, which is absolutely incredible. Back in the southern plains, there's a very mild morning ahead. Temperatures as we go into Wednesday will start to fall again across the southern plains as a weak cold front will make its way across those areas. But notice the Northeast and Ohio Valley. You guys are just going to continue to stay below freezing. Extremely dangerous cold will continue all across Ohio and Pennsylvania. In fact, we actually have upwards of 1,500 school closures today across the United States. A lot of that is either due to the ice storm that happened a little over a week ago, or because of the extreme cold that we've been talking about for the last week or two. By Friday morning, you can see right up here, this is the Arctic air. It almost looks like a thumb that is developing over Hudson Bay. That is basically our low pressure center that is going to be centered up there with a little bit of warmer weather on the east side of that low. By late Friday and early Saturday, that is when that Arctic air is going to spill into the Great Lakes, the Ohio Valley, and the Northeast. Temperatures will rapidly fall in these areas. On the flip side of things, we'll have mild weather developing across the southern plains and back into Florida. By late Saturday, early Sunday, that Arctic air is just going to be sitting all across New England, some areas as low as 30 degrees below zero. So dangerous cold is on the way for some areas. We could even have some exploding trees as we've mentioned in previous videos. Monday is when we have the possibility of seeing record-breaking cold across the Northeast, including upstate New York and even near Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where temperatures could be as low as 25 degrees below zero. Over the next few days, we are expecting snow to be a possibility in parts of the United States. And believe it or not, it begins today. It's not a big threat. However, we do have a little low pressure system that is currently developing over the mid-Mississippi Valley. There's even a possibility of some thunderstorms back in the deep south today. We're not expecting severe weather, but don't be surprised with some gusty winds and a few rumbles of thunder down near Mississippi and Louisiana, where a lot of places are still without power due to the ice storm last weekend. Back in the Ohio Valley on the north side of that low, there will be some snow showers. This is not going to be anything crazy, but by tonight we could have some heavier snow making its way towards Cincinnati, just south of Columbus, maybe near Evansville, Indiana. That'll be making its way into West Virginia and Virginia tonight, bringing some light snowfall. We're not expecting significant accumulations here, but maybe 1 to 3 inches in some areas is possible. Wednesday morning, snow showers will linger across the Carolinas and Virginia. This low pressure system will be very slow moving on Wednesday, so just keep an eye out if you're in North Carolina and Virginia for some additional snowfall on top of all the snow that we saw this past weekend. We saw in a lot of areas over a foot of snow in North Carolina. Might see another inch or two as we go into late tomorrow night and Thursday. On Thursday, this storm system moves offshore. Some snow showers will be possible back in New England. By the time we go into Friday, that is when another large storm system will be making its way across the Great Lakes and the Northeast. It will be a very intense low-pressure system, by the way. This is going to be an Alberta Clipper. What this essentially will bring is a threat of some heavier snowfall on Friday. So on Friday morning, we're expecting some heavier snow to make its way across Indiana, Ohio, and Michigan. We could even see some snow squalls in some areas, which means rapidly reducing visibility with heavy snowfall being a possibility. Get ready for that in Indianapolis, Columbus, and as well as the Cleveland area for Friday morning. Friday afternoon, that snow will make its way as far south as North Carolina and Virginia. Relatively light stuff by this point. Late Friday night into early Saturday, that snow will continue to linger across the Northeast. On the backside of that low pressure system, we will have very intense winds and any snow that is still on the ground, which for most of you in the Northeast, there's over a foot of snow on the ground still. We could have blizzard conditions. Definitely be ready for the possibility of blizzard conditions this weekend across the Northeast as this low pressure system will just be circling offshore. It's actually going to probably be close to being a nor'easter because of how close it is going to be to New England. But it does not appear as if that low pressure center will be close enough to continue to dump snow in New England on Sunday. By late Sunday and early Monday, we could have another snow disturbance back in parts of the Ohio Valley and the Mid-Atlantic. This one is a bit more questionable since it is still about 5 to 6 days from now, but we'll be keeping an eye on this as we could have a possibility of some light to moderate snowfall, maybe as far south as Tennessee, maybe even into North and South Carolina, perhaps even Georgia. Eventually, by the middle of February, this is where things get much more uncertain, but trends continue to show that we will likely start to see some bigger storm systems during the middle of February. In terms of total snowfall accumulation today, we are expecting a widespread 1 to 3 inches, stretching from Indiana back into West Virginia, maybe a coating to an inch over Maryland and New Jersey. The bigger story will be this weekend, as we are expecting a more widespread winter weather event, not necessarily a more significant one as most areas will only pick up a coating to 3 inches. But some areas like upstate New York back into northern New England could easily pick up closer to a foot of snow with this disturbance. The bigger story will be the blizzard conditions with all the high winds that we are going to be seeing. By the beginning of next week, we could see more snowfall, and that may impact areas like Tennessee and North Carolina, but that is just too uncertain to really talk too much about at this point. Thank you so much for watching today's forecast. If you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. We'll likely have another video either tomorrow or Thursday. Stay tuned, and we'll see you in the next one.